You were there on the screen 35 years ago, when as a young expectant mother, I spent months recovering from a broken back. You were there praising with me as the baby was born perfect. You were there still 6 years later when my husband abandoned the home. You were there all down the years as a single parent. I was learning to trust the Lord in all things, raising children alone. You and Norma Jean mean so much to me, a source of integrity and decency in this world gone mad. Thank you again for your long and trusted commitments to all Canadians. May the days ahead be filled with the peace that passes all understanding and with the joy of our precious Lord and Savior. Happy birthday, sincerely, Peggy from Kelowna, BC. I know that my father has meant so many to each and every one of you, but he truly meant the world to us. Life was an adventure with Dad. And he put that same spirit of adventure and of working to do big things for God into each and every one of us in our family. We knew we were a team, with Mom and us kids being involved in whatever Dad was doing. From singing together on those early Crossroads programs to stuffing and licking envelopes all Saturday afternoon. Afterwards, our reward would be a Dairy Queen or a stop at the Tim Hortons on the Hamilton Mountain. And Dad would always say, "Get whatever you want." So we would pick out the biggest milkshake or ice cream sundae or a giant chocolate eclair, and he was happy with that. Mom, not so. The only weekend I can remember that Mom went away somewhere, Dad took us to the grocery store and said, "Get whatever you want." You can only imagine what 4 kids put in that shopping cart. He had a generous and giving heart through and through. When we were kids, of course, there was no Google search, but we didn't need Google, we had Dad. Then when our children came along, it was the same thing. Better call Grandpa, he'll have the answer. He had a brilliant mind, more than he ever presented publicly. We always knew he'd be there for any one of us, and he made each of us feel special.
Before his passing, we had many wonderful moments with him in the hospital. What a gift from God that he gave us these extra years beyond what the doctors had said, and these many days in the hospital to be with him, to learn from him, to be inspired by him. So in these past 3.5 weeks, I have never heard the words, "I love you more," words that we spoke to him and words that came from his lips to every member of our family and even to the hospital caregivers. Knowing he was nearing the end of his life, Dad used every opportunity with the family to speak to us about what was on his heart. A couple of days before he died, my mother and all of my siblings and spouses, we were gathered around in his room. We were kind of chatting amongst ourselves when suddenly, in a remarkably loud voice, my dad said, "Ladies and gentlemen." You would think he was announcing something in a huge gathering like here. That certainly called our attention to him, and we all looked at him and listened to what was going to come next. Well, he proceeded to exhort us all to fulfill God's calling upon our lives and to have unity, not to have anything against the other, but to have peace always. What is our calling? For all believers in Jesus Christ, our calling is to share Jesus with others, to show them the way that they too, like my Father, can enjoy the eternal presence of Jesus Christ in heaven. Following Christ is not only the way to die, but it is the way to live an abundant life full of spiritual blessings, as did my dad.